Today I'm going to be meal prepping 7 different recipes for Luxie. These are going to be fridge and freezer recipes, super easy, super simple, and with the price of groceries right now, very affordable. So I hope that you guys enjoy this one. I'm starting with the fastest and easiest recipe, so I just have a package of Hawaiian rolls. I'm going to be cutting them in half, and then I'm going to put wow butter on one side and jelly on the other and put them together to make like peanut butter and jellies. Luxie's allergic, so we don't do peanut butter in our house, so feel free to add peanut butter to yours if you don't have any allergies. This is so simple, you guys. To make the cutting part easier, you can actually put another cutting board on top, and that way you don't have to worry about slicing your hand open. I was just a little too lazy for that, so I used my hand anyway, but you know, learn from my mistakes, you guys. Now I'm just adding some wow butter on there. I absolutely love wow butter. If your little ones go to a school where there are no nuts allowed in the school, no peanuts or tree nuts, this is a great option to make sandwiches and things like that. It actually smells like peanut butter, has the same consistency, and it's very comparable in taste, I think. I really wish I was sponsored by them, but they have been such a game changer since finding out that Luxie has a peanut allergy. And I highly recommend to other mamas to be considerate of peanut allergies because they are much, much higher than they used to be, especially like when we were little. It's actually called a peanut allergy epidemic now. So just be mindful about other children and try your hardest not to take any peanuts or peanut butter into public places. I know that as a mother of a child with a severe peanut allergy, that is very appreciated. Y'all, I know I've been working out and stuff, but I struggled so hard to open up that jelly, so I had to throw that one away and get a different one. My husband wasn't home, and I thought I was going to slice my hand open just trying to open it. So, yeah, squeeze jelly, here we go. Now I'm just going to slice all of these into the sandwich bites and put everything back together in the packaging and just throw them in the freezer. These are so amazing, especially for my mamas with little ones in school or daycare. You can pack these in the morning and they will be thawed by lunchtime. They thaw so easily and they're just so easy and fast. I love this. This one is still a little work in progress, so I've been trying to find a way to kick Danimals out of my fridge. They just don't have the healthiest ingredients, and for me, I think that much sugar first thing in the morning or as snacks, it's just not that healthy and it's not necessary. So I'm going to be making my own Danimal smoothies today. I'm only missing the containers that I want to put them in, but I do have an idea for that. So stay tuned for my next toddler meal prep because I'm sure it'll be in there. So first I'm just getting out all of my ingredients. I've got some Stonyfield organic probiotic whole milk yogurt, and I'm going to be chopping up some strawberries that I've already washed, spinach and some honey. I'm just going to blend that all together, and I'm going to be making 4 little yogurt containers. You guys should know by now that I have a hard time measuring anything, so I'm just pretty much eyeballing it and stuffing as much spinach as I can get away with. I'm adding in a pretty good amount of raw organic local honey. If you have a little one with allergies, this really helps to do local honey. However, if you do have a little one under the age of 1, they are not supposed to have honey. So make sure that you ask your pediatrician if you have any questions about that. Now I'm pretty much just going to fill my blender cup all the way up with yogurt, so however much will fit, and it ended up being the rest of the container, so that was awesome. I do seem to get a lot of questions about what kind of blender I use too. I have it linked in my Amazon storefront, which is in the video description. I put all kinds of goodies in the video description for you guys, so make sure to check that out. But I do have this linked on my Amazon storefront. We actually got it as a wedding gift 6 years ago, and it still works like brand new. Knock on wood. You know, when you say stuff like that, it usually breaks. Hopefully not in my case. This literally took no time, so I'm just filling up these little cups that I also have linked on my Amazon storefront. I love these. They're silicone. You can throw them in the microwave, in the freezer, whatever. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So I filled those up and I actually drank the rest of the smoothie and it was so good. I'm going to be making this a lot more often. These are good to store in the fridge up to 5 days. Now we're moving on to a super secret, super sneaky recipe. I hope you guys are ready. So we're going to be making some pasta sauce that's primarily veggies, and they'll have no idea. Okay, now there is no wrong way to do this, okay, unless you add like way too much salt or something, but I love to use my leftover veggies at the end of the week or the end of the month so that way nothing goes bad. I didn't have any fresh veggies in the fridge that I needed to use up, but I did have some in the freezer, so I just used half a bag of that Normandy blend frozen veggies, and I'm going to mix in a can of diced tomatoes. It doesn't really matter what kind, it just is really good to put that liquid in with the frozen, and I'm going to just kind of let that simmer on about medium low or medium heat, and it doesn't really matter how long you cook it for as long as it doesn't burn, but you want the veggies to get really soft so you can blend them easily. For seasonings, I'm just using garlic, salt, onion powder, and oregano, and I'm just seasoning with my heart, y'all. I cannot tell you the measurements because I don't know. Now I'm just going to stir everything up really well and let that simmer with the lid on for at least 20 minutes. I just want the veggies to be really soft so that way blending is a breeze. Moving on, we're going to be making some sweet potato and turkey bites. I know it doesn't really sound that good, but I promise this was probably my favorite thing out of this whole video. So just get ready, y'all. It's good. So first I am washing 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes, and I'm going to be stabbing them with a fork and putting them in the microwave for about 6 minutes. I was super aggressive while doing that, but if anybody learns anything from this, it's not to mess with mama. Now for the potatoes, I did turn them over after 3 minutes, so I cooked a total of 6, so 3, flip, then 3 again. After the potatoes are done in the microwave, I'm just going to set them aside for a little bit so that way I don't burn the absolute crap out of my hands, and I'm just going to work on my veggies now. I started strong with an immersion blender, and then my wrist started hurting really bad because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and she said no, not today, so I had to pull out the big boy. You have to be really careful when blending things that are hot, because if it gets too sealed while you're blending it, it could explode. I'm just warning you, this hasn't happened to me personally, but I have seen it happen, and that is some scary stuff, so just be careful. Tread lightly, y'all. But I did it anyways because 1, Luxie was asleep and I actually filmed this entire video during her nap time, so kudos to me, and 2, because my mama didn't raise no beautiful person who wastes time. Once it is all the way done blending, I'm just going to reuse some other pasta containers that I've kept and held on to like a little hoarder. But you know what? It comes handy for times like these. You don't always need the most aesthetic of things, you guys. Sometimes a recycled jar will do the trick. Just saying. I'm storing one in the fridge for up to 5 days, and then the other one I'm going to be putting in the freezer, and that can stay in there for up to 3 months. Now moving back to the sweet potato and ground turkey bites. The potatoes were still really hot, but I did it anyways because I was on a time crunch here. So I'm just going to peel both potatoes and put them in a medium-sized bowl. Now I'm just going to mash them up a little bit. I'm going to add in 1 pound of ground lean turkey. I'm just going to mix this all together the best that I can. Now I'm just cracking 2 eggs into the mixture. I also forgot to add that I already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Now I'm going to add in my seasonings, again measuring with my heart. So I'm using onion powder, paprika, garlic salt, and black peppercorn. Now I'm just going to mix all of that together really well. Now in a different bowl, I'm going to be mixing together some cassava flour, but you can use whatever kind of flour you prefer. And the same seasonings that I put in the other mixture, I'll be putting in the dry mixture as well. Now this is just going to go on top of my bite-sized pieces, so that way they just kind of stay together and aren't super sticky. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. After I've mixed the seasonings and the flour together really well, I'm going to be using a tablespoon sized scoop to scoop out the wet mixture, and then I'm going to coat it with the flour mixture just so it's not super sticky. Now next time I may do this as meatballs, but I wanted it to be a different shape because Luxie is getting a little tired of meatballs. So I'm making them kind of just into bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to put them on a sheet lined with parchment paper. I did spray the tops of these with some olive oil after I finished putting them all in the pan, and it was just to give them a little bit of a crispiness, which I liked. So now I'm going to bake them at 350 for 15 minutes, and then I will flip them over and bake them for another 15 minutes. Moving on to the next thing, I absolutely love these, and I really hope that you will try them and let me know how you like them too. So I'm just mixing some Kodiak cakes into pancake mix, which is 1 cup of Kodiak cakes and 3/4 cup of water. And I also added in a little bit of cinnamon. I'm just going to mix that together really well and chop up some bananas. I am also preheating my pan because we are making banana pancake bites. Not like banana pancakes, like actual bananas dipped in pancake batter and then cooked. And let me tell you, these are crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside, and just straight up delicious. There's no way these are going to last more than 2 or 3 days in my house. So I have my pan at medium-high heat, and I am spraying with some olive oil. Now you can lower the heat a little bit if you think that they might burn, depending on how many you're making at once. That's why I just did medium-high heat, and it worked out pretty good for me. So I'm just taking the pieces of sliced banana and putting them in the pancake batter and then putting them right on the pan. And after I'm done putting the last one on, I'll start flipping the first one over, and so that way both sides are completely cooked. I will say that the thinner that you slice the bananas, the better off that you will be, because if you cut them too thick, then the pancake batter on the sides won't cook properly. Time to flip over the sweet potato and turkey bites. So I'm just doing it straight in the oven on the rack, just flipping them over with some tongs. Super easy, super simple. Now these banana bites are done, and you guys, they are so delicious. You can reheat them in the microwave, but the best way is in an air fryer, so that way they're still crunchy on the outside. Luxie devoured these when she got up from her nap. She loved them so much, and I do too, honestly. So if you're not going to make these for your toddler, just make them for you. They're so good. All right, and now the turkey and sweet potato bites are done, so I'm just going to pull them out of the oven and check to make sure that they're actually done. So for any poultry, you want to make sure that it's at least cooked to 165 Fahrenheit, and that's what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to store them in some airtight containers. I'm going to put some in the fridge and some in the freezer. These are good for up to 5 days in the refrigerator and up to 3 months in the freezer. I know that they aren't the prettiest, but man, these are so yummy. You could dip them in ketchup or in ranch or just eat them by themselves. So yummy. The final recipe. Okay, but for real, I'm just getting 2 bananas and smushing them up. These are not ripe at all because the ones that I had to use for this recipe went disgusting overnight. So I had to go to the store and get some new bananas, and these are the ripest ones I could find. So make do with what you got, you know? Anyways, we are going to be making some really easy 3-ingredient cookies. And if you didn't know that already, you should check out the timestamps because I am timestamping all of these videos for you guys. So if you need to refer back to a recipe, you can find it easily. Or if you know you're not very interested in one, you can skip through it. Don't make me cry, but you can skip through it if you want. And yeah, so now I'm just smushing up 2 medium, supposed to be ripe bananas. Now I'm adding in 1 cup and some spillage of dry rolled oats. And I'm going to be mixing in some chocolate chips. I love these Bake Believe ones because the ingredients are really good and there's no added sugar. So I'm just going to add in as many as I want. And I suggest you do the same. I did not measure the chocolate chips, but we like them extra chocolatey. Now I'm just using a fork to drop the cookie dough onto some parchment paper on a baking sheet, and my oven is still preheated to 350 degrees. So I'm just going to kind of shape them into cookie shapes. And I'm going to let them bake for 15 minutes.
Okay, my cookies are ready. These were so yummy. Thank you for watching my try. So subscribe, please.
It's time for you to get up. It's time for you to get up. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of this video. I really hope that you will like it and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so that way you don't miss any of my videos. See you next time.
I'm thinking you were made for me. Isn't it my birthday?